Hey everyone, so you know how much you guys value staying ahead of the curve when it comes to your health?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, get this.
Okay.
We're diving deep today into some really cutting-edge research.
Nice.
It suggests that we might have a powerful new weapon against Alzheimer's disease:
Interesting.
aerobic exercise.
Okay.
And this isn't just about slowing things down. We're talking about potentially reversing some of the damage.
Wow.
Pretty incredible stuff, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
We're going deep into a study from the University of Bristol and the Federal University of Sao Paulo,
Okay.
published just last month in Brain Research.
Great.
So before we get into the nitty-gritty,
Yeah.
let's do a quick recap on Alzheimer's.
Sure.
It's a progressive neurodegenerative disease
Right.
that impacts millions globally,
Mm-hmm.
and right now there's no cure.
Yeah.
It has a devastating effect on memory, thinking, and behavior.
And a key area affected by Alzheimer's is the hippocampus. That part of the brain responsible for learning and memory?
Yeah.
This study really honed in on what happens in the hippocampus.
So this study looked at 3 major hallmarks of Alzheimer's in the hippocampus:
Okay.
amyloid plaques, tau tangles,
Mm-hmm.
and iron accumulation in certain brain cells.
Gotcha.
Can you break those down for us?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Imagine amyloid plaques as these sticky clumps of protein fragments
Okay.
that build up between nerve cells.
Uh-huh.
They basically disrupt communication in the brain.
So they're getting in the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Tau tangles, on the other hand, are twisted strands of protein
Okay.
found inside the brain cells themselves.
Gotcha.
They mess with the cell's ability to function correctly.
So they're kind of like gumming up the works from the inside.
Yeah, you could say that.
Interesting.
And then we have iron accumulation in oligodendrocytes.
Yeah.
These cells are super important because they create myelin,
Right.
which acts like a protective coating around nerve fibers.
Like insulation.
Exactly like insulation.
Okay.
Too much iron can damage these crucial cells.
So these 3 things are kind of like the villains in the Alzheimer's story.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And what do the researchers find when they put rodents through a structured aerobic exercise program?
Okay, well, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The rodents that exercise regularly showed incredible reductions in all 3 Alzheimer's markers.
Wow.
We're talking a 63% reduction in tau tangles,
Okay.
a 76% drop in amyloid plaques,
Wow.
and iron accumulation was slashed by a whopping 58%.
Those are some serious numbers.
Right.
It's like exercise is the superhero swooping in to fight off those villains.
I like that analogy.
But it gets even better, right?
It does.
Didn't the study also find that exercise actually improved overall brain cell health?
You're absolutely right.
Awesome.
The study showed an increase in the number of those protective oligodendrocytes we talked about.
Okay.
Plus, there was less brain inflammation,
Right.
which is huge because inflammation is linked to cell death and damage.
Hold on. So not only is exercise fighting the bad guys, but it's also boosting the brain's defenses.
Exactly.
I'm starting to think exercise really is a superhero.
It really does seem that way.
Since it's not just protecting the brain, it's actively improving its function.
Right. And here's another amazing finding.
Okay.
Exercise actually improved communication between brain cells.
What?
Yeah. It's almost as if exercise helped the brain rewire itself in a healthier way.
So like restoring those connections that were broken.
Yeah, precisely.
Incredible.
One of the researchers, Dr. Augusto Coppi, put it really well.
Okay.
He basically said this research shows how aerobic exercise could be a cornerstone in preventing Alzheimer's.
I mean, that's huge.
It is.
What are your thoughts on that statement?
I think it's an incredibly powerful statement.
Yeah.
And it speaks to the potential we have to take control of our brain health.
Right.
While genetics certainly play a role, this research suggests lifestyle choices, like incorporating regular aerobic exercise, can have a major impact.
That's a great point.
You know, it's not just about fate or genetics.
Right.
It's about taking proactive steps.
Absolutely. But before we get too ahead of ourselves,
Okay.
I want to know more about this aerobic exercise everyone keeps mentioning.
Sure.
Is it just for marathon runners?
Well, that's a common misconception.
Okay.
Aerobic exercise is really any activity that gets your heart rate up and increases your breathing for a sustained period.
So like what?
We're talking brisk walking, swimming, cycling, dancing. Even gardening can be aerobic if you're really moving.
Oh, wow.
It's really about getting your body moving and your heart pumping.
So it's not about pushing yourself to the limit.
No, not at all.
It's about finding activities you enjoy and, most importantly, can stick with long term.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
And it's important to remember that the researchers used a structured exercise program for the rodents to control the experiment.
Right.
For us humans, consistency is key. Making regular physical activity a part of our routine, even if it's just a 30-minute walk a few times a week, can make a big difference.
Gotcha.
It all adds up.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's about making movement a natural part of your life.
Right.
Not just another chore on the to-do list.
I like that.
Yeah, making it something you look forward to.
Absolutely. But I'm curious, like, how does this whole exercise helps the brain thing actually work?
Oh, that's a great question.
On like a cellular level?
Yeah.
What's the science behind it?
Well, one of the key mechanisms at play is something called neuroplasticity.
Okay.
It's basically the brain's incredible ability to adapt and change throughout life.
Wow.
And exercise seems to be a powerful trigger for positive neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity. I love that word.
It's a good one.
So our brains aren't static.
Nope.
They're constantly evolving.
Precisely.
And exercise can actually promote the growth of new brain cells.
Yeah.
Strengthen the connections between existing ones, and even help the brain form new pathways.
That's right.
It's like giving your brain a workout, too.
Exactly. It's like hitting the gym for your brain.
But how much of this amazing brain-boosting effect is really from exercise?
Right.
I mean, the study was done on rodents, right?
Right.
How much can we actually apply these findings to humans?
That's a great question, and it's important to acknowledge the limitations of animal studies.
Okay.
Rodents and humans have different brain structures and lifespans, so we can't directly translate the findings.
Right.
However,
Yeah.
there's already a ton of research in humans showing that exercise has significant cognitive benefits.
Okay.
This new study adds to that growing body of evidence and, more importantly, gives us a glimpse into the cellular mechanisms behind it.
So it's not just about feeling better after a workout.
Nope.
There are real, measurable changes happening in our brains.
Absolutely, you got it.
And what's even more exciting is that this research is already paving the way for potential new treatments for Alzheimer's.
Really?
The researchers are looking into drugs that could mimic the effects of exercise on the brain,
Interesting.
specifically targeting iron metabolism and cell death.
Wow, that's fascinating.
So it's not just about encouraging people to exercise more.
No.
It's also about using these findings to develop new therapies.
Exactly. It's a multi-pronged approach.
That's incredible.
It really highlights the power of scientific research to unlock new possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just the beginning.
Okay.
The researchers are already planning human clinical trials to confirm these findings and explore those treatment avenues further.
So it sounds like this research is offering a real ray of hope in the fight against Alzheimer's.
I think so.
Not only does it empower us to take control of our brain health through exercise, but it also opens up new possibilities for treatments down the road.
Absolutely. It's a win-win.
Well, this has been an incredibly enlightening deep dive.
It has been.
Before we wrap things up,
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to share about the study's findings or their implications for our listeners?
You know what strikes me is that while the study focused on Alzheimer's, the takeaway message is much broader.
Okay.
What's good for the heart is good for the brain.
Yeah.
This research serves as a powerful reminder that incorporating regular exercise into our lives can have profound benefits for our overall health and well-being at any age.
I completely agree.
It's never too late to start.
It's not just about living longer, it's about living better.
Exactly.
And this study shows us that simple lifestyle changes, like moving our bodies more, can play a huge role in achieving that goal.
Couldn't say it better myself.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this question to ponder.
Okay.
What small change can you make today to incorporate more aerobic exercise into your routine?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Maybe it's taking the stairs instead of the elevator.
Right.
Or walking or biking to work a few times a week.
Yeah.
Perhaps even joining that dance class you've been thinking about. It doesn't have to be a huge overhaul of your life.
Right.
Just start small, find something you enjoy, and build from there.
Yeah, every step counts.
I love that.
Like you were saying, it's about making movement a natural part of your life.
Yeah, and who knows, those small changes today could have a profound impact on your brain health for years to come.
Absolutely, I agree.
Well, this has been a really interesting deep dive.
It has been a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Here's to a healthier, more active future for all of us.